Now at 9, eyes were on the State House today as lawmakers discussed House Bill 1608.
President Joe Biden makes a surprise visit to Ukraine.
MSU students want changes as they return to campus 1 week after a mass shooting.
And a new lawsuit connected to disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Looking at some milder temperatures in my full forecast.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Madison Smith.
And I'm Chandler Whitted. Today, House Bill 1608 passed to the full House.
This bill discusses talks of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools. NewsLink Indiana's Anna Chalker was at the State House today as many people were there voicing their opinions on this bill.
There are not a lot of people at the State House right now, which is completely different from what we saw this morning. A large presence of LGBTQ+ supporters filed in to listen to lawmakers discuss House Bill 1608 in the Education Committee. This bill originally would prohibit teachers and educators to talk to students kindergarten through 3rd grade about sexual orientation, gender identity, and other concepts. The bill's author now says that bill would limit the discussion on human sexuality. A handful of amendments were proposed to this bill. In one states that parents would be required to give written consent at the beginning of the school year if their child is going to use a different name other than their legal name. Like I mentioned before, a large presence of LGBTQ+ supporters were rallying outside of the chamber, shouting things like "Stop the bill." The volume of that was so loud that lawmakers could hear it in the chamber while public testimony was going on. And some say this was the only way to get their voices heard by their representatives.
I want them to hear the voices that are speaking to them. I want them to actually represent the people and not just a small group of people, every person. And if it hurts any group, that they need to listen to those people and hear their voices and support all of them.
Now supporters for this bill were far outnumbered today. One supporter says talking about sexuality or identity in schools should not happen and students should not have any influence from that.
I think they need to rethink their argument about this, and they need to see that a child of that age needs to learn how to read and how to write and establish some kind of state of being so he can make a decision on his own without their force of influence and so forth, where he can't really establish who he is until he's 18 years old.
House Bill 1608 passed 9-4 and is on its way to the full House. At the State House, Anna Chalker, NewsLink, Indiana.
The BSA hosted a panel tonight with 2 Muncie police officers. BSA members and all students joined together to watch a film about police brutality called American Skin. The association's main purpose is to educate young adults about the dangers of police brutality and give students the opportunity to ask questions.
Of the event, we will have our UPD sit down and we'll ask them questions, different questions on how we can better connect ourselves with them on campus and how they can also provide resources to us on campuses.
For more information on BSA events and activities, go to the BSA website at bsu.org.
Now we're going to hand it over to Hunter and see what he has to say about weather.
Well, good evening out there, guys. I wanted to take a look at the current temperature here. It is 45 degrees in Muncie and a little bit warmer farther south in Evansville of 51 degrees. Currently, our radar is looking like it's clearing up for our area, and you can see some lingering clouds that will begin to develop in our area. So what do I have in store in my forecast here? We got a warm up and above average temperatures, rain on the way, but also some windy conditions. Much more in my full forecast.
Thank you, Hunter. Classes resumed at Michigan State University today. Students returned just a week after a gunman opened fire on campus, killing 3 people and wounding 5 others. The university's interim provost says the community is still dealing with the shock of what happened last week and hopes students, faculty, and staff will continue to heal.
Coming back into spaces that are familiar, interacting with people who are familiar is helpful in the process of healing and grieving. We know that everybody heals at their own pace and in their own manner, and so getting it exactly right will not be possible, but we will do the best we can in support of each other.
The return comes as some students say changes should be made to help them readjust.
For some of my friends, they don't want to return yet, and for some of us, we want to return. We want to get back to normal. And so I feel like, giving online options or hybrid options or ways to ask for extended deadlines.
It comes and goes in waves. It can make it hard to focus on one thing at a time. I think everyone feels differently.
Students say they feel supported by MSU's administration so far and that they hope the university will take student feedback into consideration. Michigan State University is asking professors to modify their deadlines.
Just over 2 weeks have passed since the Norfolk South train derailed and dumped toxic materials near East Palestine, Ohio, but the aftermath lingers on. Yesterday, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg sent a letter to Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw, demanding accountability, adding that, quote, "The people of East Palestine cannot be forgotten, nor can their pain be simply considered the cost of doing business." Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw also says all air and municipal water tests have come back clean, but some people should still drink bottled water. Some residents say they are suffering from ailments like headaches and sore throats since the derailment. The Ohio Department of Health is opening a health clinic on Tuesday for those affected by the train derailment, according to the statement released by the agency.
Former President Jimmy Carter has entered hospice care at home. A statement from the Carter Center says the 98-year-old wants to spend his remaining time at home with his family and receive hospice care instead of additional medical intervention. Carter recently had been in and out of the hospital for short stays. The statement went on to say Carter has the full support of his family and his medical team. The Carter family has asked for privacy and is grateful for the concern. Carter is the longest living American president in the U.S. history. He was elected in 1976 and served one term in office.
U.S. President Joe Biden made a surprise visit to Kiev today. This is his first visit to Ukraine since Russia invaded almost a year ago. In joint remarks, Biden announced $500 million in assistance. It would include military equipment like artillery munition, javelins, and howitzers. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke on what the visit could mean for Ukraine.
These conversations brings us closer to the victory, and we hope that this year, the 2023, will become a year of victory.
The U.S. military is ending its search and recovery efforts for suspected spy balloons and other unidentified objects in North American airspace. Navy officials say teams successfully located and collected debris from the suspected Chinese spy balloon and will deliver that to the FBI. As for the other objects, days of searching have been fruitless and officials decided to end the effort. This means the public may never know what those objects were flying over Alaska, the Yukon Territory, or Lake Huron. Government officials plan to develop new policies for how to handle such discoveries in the future.
The latest lawsuit connected with Jeffrey Epstein as inappropriate emails come to light.
And new changes are coming to the Lincoln Memorial, what you could see soon.
I love you!
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clarkshire athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas.
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
A former JP Morgan executive is wrapped up in a lawsuit involving a disgraced financier, Jeffrey Epstein. A newly filed federal lawsuit accuses former JP Morgan Chase CEO Jess Staley of having a close-up view of Epstein's sex trafficking and ignoring obvious red flags. It accuses Staley of exchanging thousands of sexual suggestive emails with Epstein from his JP Morgan Chase email account, some of which reportedly included photos of young women. The emails are said to have happened between 2008 and 2012, going on long after Epstein was convicted of sex crimes in 2008. Staley was largely responsible for the JP Morgan Chase's 15-year financial relationship with Epstein. He later became the CEO of Barclays, but stepped down in 2021 during investigations about the bank's dealings with Epstein.
Prosecutors in New Mexico have downgraded the manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin in the Rust shooting. The move reduces the amount of prison time the actor could face and convicted in the on-set killing of cinematographer Halen Hutchinson last month. Baldwin's attorneys filed a motion to have the firearm enhancement charge dropped. Prosecutors said in a statement the enhancement was being dropped, quote, to avoid further litigation distractions by Mr. Baldwin and his attorneys. Dropping the enhancement could take a minimum of 5 years off Baldwin's sentence if found guilty. The special prosecutor also dropped a firearm enhancement charge against Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the film's armorer.
The Supreme Court this week is set to hear back-to-back oral arguments that could reshape online speech and content. The cases Gonzalez versus Google and Twitter versus Tamna are looking at whether tech platforms and social media companies can be sued for recommending content to their users. Justices will also look at lawsuits concerning the support of international terrorism by hosting terrorist content. A 30-year-old federal law is at the heart of the legal battle. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act has repeatedly protected tech platforms from lawsuits over user-generated content, but it has come under scrutiny recently as companies like Twitter, Google, and Meta make decisions about content moderation.
Twitter is making some security changes. The platform is disabling two-factor authentication by text from now Twitter Blue subscribers. Two-factor authentication requires users to type in their password and then enter a code or security key to access their accounts. It is one of the primary methods for users to keep Twitter accounts secure. Twitter says it will make the change March 20th, and it is because they've seen bad actors abuse the phone number-based two-factor authentication. Twitter says users will have two other ways to authenticate their Twitter logins at no cost: an authentication mobile app and a security key. Twitter Blue costs $11 a month for iOS and Android subscribers.
The National Park Service is set to build a new addition underneath the Lincoln Memorial to pay tribute to the monument's civil rights history. It will feature exhibits and presentations highlighting the history of the monument as a backdrop for civil rights demonstrations throughout history. The $69 million project was first announced in 2016, and it will add 15,000 square feet of exhibits, which will display the foundations underneath the Lincoln Memorial. Visitors will learn about the history of the monument. The National Park Service says that includes the achievements of Abraham Lincoln and individuals such as Marian Anderson and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The memorial is expected to remain open throughout construction.
Looking at those current temperatures here, it's going to be a cool one, but we've got a warm up on the way in my full forecast.
Why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other,
On a deeper level. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward
it's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Welcome back. Forecaster Hunter Luzader, let's take a look into those current temperatures here. It is 45 degrees in Muncie, a little bit cooler up in Fort Wayne, 35 degrees, and further south in Bloomington, it is 50 degrees. Now looking at that current radar here, you can see showers are developing near the Ohio River Valley, but mostly in our area we're looking at cloudy skies that will break up into clear throughout the evening. Looking into the next 8 hours here, you can see a steady increase of our temperatures hovering in the lower 40s. But for tonight, though, we'll have a low of 38 degrees, winds west 10 to 15 miles per hour with partly cloudy skies. So again, a little breezy with those winds factoring in with the current temperatures, but we will have a nice warm up on the way. With that being said, we will have some showers that could potentially develop while you are sleeping, but should not impact your morning commute with a 39 degrees, winds west-northwest at 15 miles per hour. But for your lunchtime, looking at 42 degrees with winds about 20, ending your day with 45 degrees. Now, precision cast here, there is a system that will be coming in Wednesday in the morning, potentially mixing in with some sleet because we will be on the warmer front of this system here. And will continue throughout the day here, which we will have a break in some clouds. But again, this is 7 p.m. on Wednesday. The orange and darker reds indicate heavier bursts of rain. So we cannot be surprised picking up almost an inch of rain in this forecast. But as long as this exits the state, we will have, again, some winds that will produce like last week. Now, with these winds, will bring some warmer temperatures, especially on Thursday, having up to 30 miles per hour wind gusts. But for the next 6 to 10 days here, we're looking at above average precipitation for most of the Midwest here, in which will continue through March the 2nd. But for the full 7-4-day forecast here, I mentioned that system that will be coming through Wednesday, bringing some heavy rain, but some windy, breezy conditions with those warmer temperatures, reaching almost 70 degrees here. Look at that 30-degree temperature difference here. But we will have a more cooler weekend ahead with potentially having some rain chances for your Monday morning.
Yep, I like the sound of warmer weather heading our way. Thank you so much, Hunter. Let's hand it over to Jake and see what he has to say about sports.
Thanks, guys. One Ball State program takes flight on the road, and basketball in the Hoosier State turns to the postseason. All this and more next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jake Garcia with sports. Ball State Gymnastics continues their win streak with a hard-fought win over Kent State. Suki Pfister starts the match on Sunday with Ball State's highest score of the day to win the vault competition. The Golden Flashes fired back to take both the beam and floor events, but it ultimately wasn't enough to win the overall meet. The Cardinals win their 10th straight head-to-head match with the 10th best all-around competition score in the school history from junior Hannah Ruthberg.
Honestly, I felt pretty good about it. I know I have more in the tank. I know I have more to give, and I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep being aggressive with my corrections and stuff like that.
We have to focus on the details, and when you come in and you focus on the things that you have control over, then you go out and you do those things, not only in the gym, but then you do it out on the competition floor, then the results will take care of itself.
Ball State will be back in action next Sunday in Worthen Arena at 1 p.m. as they take on MAC-foe Central Michigan. Along with Ball State Gymnastics, the Ball State women's tennis team dominate over the weekend. The Cardinals square off against Western Kentucky and Oakland University at the YMCA. Even with lineup switches, Ball State still able to take care of business by defeating both teams with a score of 7-0. This puts the Cardinals on a 4-game win streak and an overall record of 6-2. The team's next matchup will be this Sunday in a doubleheader against Dayton and Eastern Illinois. First serve will take place at 1 p.m. To switch things over to the courts, Muncie Burris boys basketball prepares for the postseason as they look to win their next 2 games prior to the sectional tournament. The Owls will move 1 game closer to the end of the regular season as they take on the Madison Grant Argyles tomorrow night in a crucial game. Muncie Burris currently sits at a 7-13 record and head into the matchup off a win against West Dell last Thursday. The Owls started off slow on the season as they got off to an 0-8 start, but quickly gained momentum and went on a 4-game win streak throughout the month of January. As the regular season draws to a close, the Owls look to finish the season strong.
Trying to get them to break old habits and form the new habits that we've been teaching them. I think that early in the season you saw some inconsistency there, but as the season's progressing, we've been more consistent in the things that we've been teaching, so that we're starting to see more success.
Tip-off for tomorrow night at Madison Grant is set for 7 p.m. and Burris's final match of the regular season will take place next Thursday as they take on Blackford at home. As high school boys basketball moves closer to the postseason, so does Ball State men's basketball as they are set to take on Kent State in one of their final home matchups of the regular season tomorrow night. The Cardinals fly into the matchup 19-8 on the year with wins in 6 of their last 7 games and 11-1 when here in Muncie. On the opposite side of the court, the Golden Flashes charge into Worthen 22-5 on the season and on a 4-game win streak. Tip-off for the matchup will take place at 7 p.m. And guys, a lot of basketball going on in the Hoosier State this week, so it's a lot to look forward to.
Really exciting to see all of the teams going well. Personally, I went to Burris, so it's really exciting to see the Owls doing well as they finish off the season. So it'd be interesting to see how the Cardinals and the Owls do as seasons wrap up.
Yeah, the basketball season has been great, but it has been awesome to see the females represent in our sports here at Ball State University. Thank you so much, Jake, for reporting on sports. Major movie awards were handed out this weekend. Find out all the big winners.
Plus, stay for one last final look at weather.
I cannot set you free. My why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let
Hi.
Can you help me?
I got it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now?
Right now. You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Major movie awards were handed out this weekend on both sides of the Atlantic.
David Daniel has the highlights in today's Hollywood Minute.
All Quiet on the Western Front made a lot of noise at the BAFTA Film Awards, England's biggest night in film. The German World War II drama led the way Sunday with 7 awards, including Best Film and Best Director, as well as Adapted Screenplay and Original Score.
Colin, Sonny, Larry, and June. He used to be the best of friends.
We're still the best of friends.
No, you're not.
The Banshees of Inisherin picked up 4 BAFTAs, including Supporting Actor for Barry Keoghan and Supporting Actress for Kerry Condon. Lead acting honors went to Cate Blanchett for Tar and Austin Butler for Elvis, which also received Costume Design and Makeup and Hair Awards.
I'm not your husband. I'm another version of him from another universe.
Everything Everywhere All at Once received just 1 BAFTA honor for editing, but the night before, it was the big winner at the Directors Guild of America Awards. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, known collectively as Daniels, took top honors, Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Theatrical Feature Film. The DGA winner has gone on to win the Best Director Oscar 67 times in the last 75 years. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Speaking of great movies so far here that's gone on in 2023, I would have to say Avatar, the second one, has been the best.
Absolutely, and Puss in Boots 2 was a spectacular movie, and there's a lot of movies to come in 2023. Dungeons & Dragons, Super Mario movie, a lot to look forward to.
I agree. All right, let's take one final look at weather with Hunter.
Yeah, of course. So we are looking at a rainy Wednesday, which will continue throughout most of the day, but again, we'll have that nice warm up in temperatures with some breezy conditions for your Thursday, potentially breaking some records here. But we're looking at a very nice mild weekend ahead with, some nice rain chances coming up for the next week ahead.
Thank you, Hunter. That's all for tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com.